Welcome to the launch of the 8th Mahindra Group Sustainability Report. I am Anirban Ghosh and I lead sustainability in the group. On this occasion, we are delighted to have with us our Group Chairman, Mr. Anand Mahindra, Chairman of the Group Sustainability Council and Group President of the IT sector, Mr. Ulhas Yargop, and Vijay Kalra, Chief of Manufacturing Operations at Automotive Division and Head of Sustainability for Auto and Farm. May I request Anand to begin this panel discussion by sharing with us how sustainability started in the group and your perspectives on the subject today.
You know, Anirban, I was racking my brains for what the origin was, where the kernel of all of this started. And if I had to be totally honest about it, it goes back, frankly, 15 years ago, when I remember somebody who was a very senior person in the group, a Mr. Nagarkar. He was in manufacturing. You'll remember him.
Yes, in fact, I talked to him yesterday.
Oh, you did really? That's coincidence. But I remember he was on the verge of retirement, but he had the energy of a new recruit. And he came in to me once and said, you know, we make vehicles, and obviously we are trying to make them as efficient as possible, as emission friendly as possible. But I want to feel that as Mahindra, we did something good for the environment as well. And he had seen some documentary by BBC about Nepal where they were doing electric three-wheelers. And he just asked me for a skunk project budget, a very low budget amount, which he could go and explore this. And that became the Project Bijli. Now, due to mechanical reasons, not electric vehicle reasons, the product didn't really survive, though there are some of them which are still plying in Vaishno Devi, I believe. But if I have to look back, it's the first time that somebody came to me and said, what's the collective conscience of this company? And wanted to ignite that. And brought up sustainability well before it was fashionable to do so. And then, of course, if I had to trace the next seminal event which got us started on a path that has led directly to this report, it would be when investors and analysts started asking us, do you have a triple bottom line report? And of course, my reaction was, what on earth is that? And then we began looking into this and began to understand how the world was changing and how many more stakeholders, quite apart from consumers, were going to be looking at companies to see whether they had well and truly begun their journey towards sustainability. So I would say that really was the genesis of all of this, and the rest is history. People like Ulhas and you have brought us to this point, for which I thank you. I think we are probably trailblazers in India, perhaps the world, given what is happening in some of our group companies like Mahindra Life Spaces. But the fact remains that there is much to be done. And my viewpoint is that you have to act now. There's a very simple principle in finance that money that you save today is more valuable than money saved 5 years from now or in a longer time horizon. It's just the time value of money. I think there's a time value of sustainability as well, because a ton of carbon saved now is worth many more than the same ton saved later on. I believe we have to act now, and I think I'm looking forward to this report being one more milestone on this journey that I think we are now irrevocably on as a collective entity, as a group, and I'm very proud of what you've achieved. So thank you again for organizing today's function.
You're welcome. In your view, what are the big steps that the group has taken over the last few years? Which ones come to your mind?
Well, I'll let Ulhas and Vijay talk more about that, but I was very delighted when we were able to announce to the world that we had become water positive. What does that mean? Essentially, I think we consume something like 6.1 million meter cubes of water annually.
Yes.
And but I believe that due to our efforts in micro irrigation, which is part of our agri-business today, we save, I believe in Gujarat alone, something like 8 million meter cubes. So we have turned water positive. But as I said, that's due to one initiative and in one state. So think of how much more we can do. And there are a host of others. Perhaps, Vijay, you can talk about Zahirabad also, what they have done there to create almost a microclimate around our plant. Which I remember once somebody colorfully told me that pilots, Indian airline pilots flying over this can track their location by saying, oh, that's the Zahirabad plant, because it's a little bit of a green kind of oasis that stands out when you take an aerial view. But these are just one of the examples that I can cite, but I'd look forward to Ulhas and Vijay telling us more about that.
Sure. So Ulhas, you've been leading the work for some time now as the Chairman of the Group Sustainability Council. In your perspective, what are the things that you're seeing in some parts of the group, good work, which you would like to see lots more of?
I think there's wonderful work being done in several sectors, and if I have to look at it, it falls into 3 or 4 common categories. So for example, Mahindra Lifespace developers, they are building a carbon neutral city in Jaipur. Each of the buildings that they build is either gold or platinum certified. Similarly, in auto and farm sectors, Mahindra Reva has built a platinum certified factory. And I think there are many elements of that plant which can be replicated at all our other plants, because these are factory designs which surely there's benefit in everyone taking a look at it and seeing what they can do. Mahindra Sanyo Special Steels, they have done a life cycle assessment for 23 of their products. And what it actually did, apart from helping them understand how they are affecting the environment, it also allowed them to secure business from some European OE manufacturers. So when you do the right things and the good things, sometimes it also helps you to build your business. Similarly, auto and farm sectors has done life cycle assessment for one of their products, and Mahindra Life Spaces has done it for one of their buildings. So I think there's a lot more that can be done in all of our businesses, by understanding exactly how we affect the environment. Mahindra Finance has been using these handheld devices which save a lot of paper, apart from making their transactions instantaneous and increasing customer satisfaction. Similarly, Mahindra Logistics, they are doing electronic proof of dispatch or proof of delivery. So these are similar types of initiatives which yield a lot of benefit, both in terms of trees that are saved and also in terms of making the processes far more efficient. Tech Mahindra has installed rooftop solar plants at 3 of their locations for a total of 2.4 megawatts. And this is, I think, quite a sizable amount of power that's being generated. And just like that, also at Mahindra two-wheelers, their Pithampur plant gets 20% of its energy from rooftop solar plants. So I think, we have so many other locations all over the group, and these are excellent examples that we can follow. UWC Mahindra College, they have installed biosanitizer based sewage treatment plant for 40 kiloliters, and that's working very well. And now in fact they are thinking of converting their existing 200 kiloliter per day plant to the same technology, which will save a lot of power and obviously yield them some savings, and will also save carbon dioxide. The other thing is that sometimes companies or businesses might believe that they don't really want to put in that upfront investment. They just cannot justify it, or whatever their issues may be. So I think those companies or those businesses should evaluate using one of these ESCO type models, which is energy service companies. And what they do is they will put in the upfront investment and they will share in the savings that the project generates. So this has been used successfully at Mahindra Towers. It has been used by Mahindra Insurance Brokers to put in LED lights, and it has also been used, I believe, by Mahindra Sanyo Special Steels for doing rooftop solar. So there are a number of initiatives that have been taken all over the group, and I am really proud of it.
There is really a lot of work that's happening in the group by our colleagues. Some of them we've kind of started on the path, and there is lots more that we can do to scale up. In fact, the last couple of weeks, colleagues of ours have won 4 sustainability awards. Mahindra Life Spaces has been recognized for the 2nd year running as the regional leader in the area of sustainability in real estate. And Vijay, your team has won 3 awards last week, 4 awards actually, from 3 plants. So why don't you share with us some of the wonderful work that's happening at AFS?
Yeah, so thanks Anirban. I think I will take from what Anand was talking about Zairabad. The fact is, if I have to talk numbers, then the water table, which was 450 feet down in 2000, is now at something like 180.
In Zahirabad.
In
Wow.
Zairabad. And that's why the green thing and rainwater harvesting and all those things. So, and I mean, if it goes well, then we want to extend it to now city and start looking at that also. So, I mean, that's what. So, in place of talking everything, I think out of 3 legs, people, planet and profit, let me just talk about planet. Because, and first thing which I want to add here is that sustainability is becoming a mass movement. I mean, people feel pride, all of our employees feel really great when they do something. So, it adds a lot of value, not only in terms of what we add to resources or something, but how people look at it. So, if I talk about water, I mean, all 3 things, conservation, recycling and rainwater. If I give you example, if 3 years back we had the 1% of our water usage as rainwater harvesting, today we are at 9%. Okay, our dependency on the water supplied by corporations have reduced by 6 to 7% in last 3 years. If I look at our consumption per vehicle, we are minus 28%. And when I say per vehicle, I'm saying per vehicle, per tractor or per two-wheeler and all those things, so across. So all these things, when it comes to, and we already talked about micro irrigation, how it's helping us. Coming to energy, everything we are trying to do, energy efficiency improvement, looking at new equipments like cooling tower, chillers, and heat pumps and all those things which are very energy efficient. We are looking at alternate fuels. So if I have to give you some examples, overall, I mean, if I'm talking in terms of money, 5.5 crore saving through these things. And if I see the other part of it, 17,000 houses can be lit annually because of that. Okay, medium this thing. So 2 room set typical, which consumes 400 units, 17,000 houses. And if I talk about LPG to LNG, LPG to other fuels and all those things, I mean, at Nasik we have done a project where we were using LPG, we went for LNG. LNG is not supplied through pipelines there. So we went with a very, very innovative way, working with BPL and Inox. Then now it is supplied by road, which is 3rd project in the country where it happens like this, and working very, very efficiently, and it's much more cleaner, so environment is getting help. Coming to renewable, solar is becoming something like a practice now for at least taking care of canteens and similar things. But on top of it, we are going for wind now this year. We are heading to solar. Wind, we will have 4 MW wind.
Which plants?
Wind,
Plants
we
in
will use
Maharashtra.
it for Chakan, and we will use it for AFS, rest of the plants together. So it will go to the national grid and then we can take anywhere.
Right.
So that will add to.
So it will be the highlight for next year's report.
Yeah, and if everything goes well, then 4 months down the line.
We hardly unveiled this report about next year. Man ahead of his time.
The work never stops.
Yeah, so 4 months down the line, we should have wind power already in use. Coming to other things, small things, like avoiding carton uses, wooden uses, paper saving, all put together. If I see across AFS, we have per vehicle or per scooter or per this thing, 23% reduction in last 3 years. So today we consume
amazing.
almost 3/4 of what we were consuming. So these are very.
Now I know why oil prices are going down. If you add up everybody saving that kind of money, clearly it has an impact on commodity prices.
So this is helping both ways. I mean, keeping morale high, helping the society, as well as if we look at even at our conversation cost. I mean, last 4 years we have retained the same thing. Thank you.
Wow. So that is commendable work indeed. Anand, in your view, going forward, what should we do for the group to have greater impact in the area of sustainability and greater impact on its business, really?
Well, your first question, what should the goal be? And as you know, this is a group where all of you set your own goals, not me, but from my perspective, we have to decide that a target for us is to become carbon neutral across the group. And to be very frank, unless we achieve that, then our overarching goal of becoming one of the most admired brands in the world is not going to be achieved. I do not think people are going to admire companies in the future which are not devoted to sustainability and have achieved very concrete and tangible results. That's the prime goal. But to be very honest, how do you build this into our sort of, how do you embed it in our bloodstream? I really believe we should look for business opportunities which emerge from sustainability. After all, we are a business entity. We are devoted to shareholders. If we are simply ticking a box like we would do for CSR and we tick a box for sustainability, I tell you now we are doomed to failure. But if we actively, in our entrepreneurial initiatives, look for projects that find profit in sustainability, whether it's through micro irrigation, whether it's through solar energy as we are doing, but in any one of those modes we have to find opportunities in sustainability. When we do that, then it becomes part of the way in which we grow as a group. That's when I think it will become truly embedded in us. And finally, at the end of the day, I'm a huge believer that it's all about people. Vijay said this is becoming a movement, and I think that's the answer. We have to ensure that every one of us passionately believes in this, that we are really out to make this world a better place for our children and grandchildren, no matter how cliched that sounds. And that's why I'm delighted you said it's become a movement. Things get done when people are not doing something to tick a box or to please their bosses, but when they are doing it to transform their perspective of meaning at work.
That's right.
If we can somehow do that, if you can become the chief evangelist for that and make people take it up as their mission because they believe in it personally, then I think great things are going to happen.
Wonderful. So today is a great day. We are going to launch the 8th Group Sustainability Report. In fact, our colleagues across the group have done fantastic work. The report is being launched, the earliest ever that it's been launched during the year, so I must acknowledge the work that they've all done. So may I request...
You met your KRA then.
Wonderful. So may I request you to launch the report for us.
So you should open it simultaneously.
I guess.
We all do that.
Lovely.
They booby-trapped yours, I think, Anirban.
There has to be alternative thinking. Why does it have to be done the same way?
We don't have much of an audience here, but I think I can hear the sound of applause
Yes.
wherever the people are. Thank you, Anirban. Well done.
Thank you, Anand.
Ulhas, congratulations.
Thank you,
Well done,
sir.
Vijay. Thank you.
Thank you, Ulhas. Thank you, Vijay. And thank you, everybody who joined us on the webcast. It was wonderful being with you. I hope you got some value out of this. And the report is uploaded on Mahindra.com. Take a look and do write into us. Thanks a ton.
Thank you.